The following is my last assignment before completing my undergraduate career in college, and it is truly hard to believe. I'm so proud of myself. I wish I could give 17-year-old Julia a hug and tell her thank you for fighting for the Julia I am now. I'm so grateful for my education that gave me the opportunity to meet an amazing professor who I'll look up to forever, who supported me through and through with whatever I want to do for our independent study. To have someone like Professor Carrie Dimmitt support my happiness so fully means the world to me. The curriculum I created for myself started with learning about how trauma presents itself in different bodies, then moved to animal-assisted therapy, and lastly landed on self-compassion. As much as I loved learning about all of these topics, I think learning about self-compassion has changed my life. It makes me more confident, forgiving, and loving towards myself and others. To briefly generalize self-compassion, it contains three main components: common humanity, mindfulness, and kindness. To give examples, when I am struggling or going through something difficult, I try to think, this feeling is not one that someone else has not felt and I am not alone. This is common humanity. Bringing attention to your body and try to feel out what hurts and why is mindfulness. And lastly, talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love if they were hurting. Kindness. Eventually, I started to fall in love with parts of myself that I have left lonely for so long. I started experiencing intense feelings of grief for how I used to treat myself and others, and started loving everything that makes me who I am. I used to think I was special because I felt certain things. Then I learned this can't be true because if everyone is special, then nobody is. Believing that I'm special because I do this or that is harmful for me because there's always going to be someone who does it better. What I think does make us special, though, is the relationships we're able to build with each other. I think vulnerability makes us special. Being vulnerable with someone is so special to me. This is dedicated to vulnerability. Self-care is radical within this capitalist and racist country where hierarchy is inevitable. To learn what I needed to do in order to take care for myself, I needed to be vulnerable. I had to figure out what needed attention in order for me to feel the best. For me, that included being self-compassionate and through that, loving myself and others to the fullest of my ability. I'm learning that I really can trust myself to take care of me. This is a continuous process. I created a sort of self-compassion mantra for when I'm experiencing anything difficult that goes like this. I am having a really hard time right now. This is part of being human. May I hold my pain with tenderness and may I be gentle with my pain. I am worthy of receiving self-compassion. Being vulnerable for me can look like eating as much as I want to with people I love, buying that cheese I've never had an excuse to buy, taking a trip to an unknown yurt, or doing something scary because whatever the worst case scenario is, I trust that I can deal with it. The same way that I am grateful for the hardships I have gone through because they make the beautiful days that much more wonderful, I am grateful for my vulnerability, as without it, I don't think I would have the appreciation I have for it as I do now. I believe my most beautiful and precious relationships have been created through moments of vulnerability that we have shared. Learning about one another intimately and deeply is something that I cherish immensely. To be responded to with openness and love when I tell someone about an experience that has brought me pain and heartache just reinforces to me that I can be vulnerable and safe simultaneously. This creates a feeling of trust that I can move through this world safely. The process is continuous and will be nonlinear, but I believe that as time goes on, I will eventually trust that my limits are boundless. With all my heart, I thank anyone and everyone who has ever supported me through times that I have struggled. To everyone who has given me strength in places I wasn't able to find in myself at the time. I love you and I appreciate you. With love, Julia Sa.